Hi everyone, this is Ryan Nagy. I'm here with my good friend Rob McNeilly, who's got a new Coaching for Solutions program coming up. And I want to ask Rob some questions about it and figure out what he's up to and what he's doing with all this. So, hey Rob, how's it going?
Good, Ron. Good.
Quite frankly, I know very little about this program, that what you're doing. You just kind of sprung it on me, I think about a week, maybe a week ago was the first time I heard about it. So,
hmm
what is Coaching for Solutions?
Well, uh, I've noticed that a lot of people are interested in coaching. I did a survey recently, and of the people who responded to the survey, uh, about 40% of people are already doing some coaching in their practice.
Okay.
60% said that they are interested to learn more about coaching, and more than 80% said that they were interested in solutions. So from the interest in coaching and then interest in solutions, the program came as a good fit for that. But
Mm-hmm.
as you know, I had the privilege of learning with Milton Erickson, and for me, he was the first coach. He was interested 50 years ago in looking not so much what was wrong with someone that needed fixing, but what they wanted to move towards for their future. And I also
Okay.
had marvelous input and learning from a bunch of Chilean teachers, Fernando Flores, Rafael Echeverria, and Julio Laya, who were influenced by another Chilean, Humberto Maturana,
Right.
a
Mm-hmm.
biologist. But these people were very early on in the formulation of coaching as a therapy, as a career. And so I did a long program with them with a couple of friends based in America. And I learned a lot about coaching from that. And I've been teaching coaching program face to face for 15 years or so.
Yeah, for quite some time. I was aware of that.
But this online program is the first time I've presented it as an online program, and I'm not expecting to do it again. As you know, my main interest is in hypnosis. But
Mm-hmm.
coaching is such an important issue and so relevant for a lot of people that I thought that it would be a good thing to put it out there because there seems to be a lot of interest in it.
Yeah. So you
Hmm.
mentioned Erickson. I mean, Erickson wasn't focused on pathology. He was focused on what, health and strength and getting people moved in a certain direction, a positive direction. That's
Hmm.
very much what coaching has evolved into.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, coaching, has had a strange history. It began with sports coaching, where the main impetus in sports coaching is to generate motivation and
Right.
enthusiasm. I'm going to go out there and But when you get that hype, I've noticed that when what goes up comes down. So people can get a hit and they think, oh yes, I can do it, but then the next day they think, oh, I'm not so sure. So I think that
Yeah.
there is a way of adapting coaching to make it more solid, more doable, more human, rather than just whipping up some kind of motivational theory, motivational expectancy.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what the program is about.
Okay. And how are you structuring this? Actually, before you go into that, just very quickly, I think sometimes in a lot of our various fields, we sort of seem to make these distinctions. Ah, this is hypnosis, or
Oh yeah,
this is coaching, this is
yeah.
trauma work, this is depression work.
Mm.
But I mean, from what I know about you, I would think hypnosis or hypnotic language patterns are very much a part of this. Or do you, is that the case, or do you make
Yeah,
those distinctions in your mind when you're teaching or doing workshops? Like, oh, I'm gonna go into this hypnotic, or this is a coaching technique, or
I don't think so. But what I've learned from Erickson and through hypnosis informs all of the work that I do. I think people learn through experience. And what I
hmm.
love about hypnosis is it generates an experience. But it's not the only way. I think with coaching, people can connect with something that's important to them, some skills that they have that they've lost contact with, when they can make a more substantial connection, they're up and running, ready to go. And the
Mm,
thing that I love about the approach that I'm exploring here and offering is that it is in many ways very familiar to what a lot of therapists are already doing. People who've
mm,
been trained in solution work, solution oriented, solution focused, they already know about this. And in fact, a lot of therapists in different parts of the world, America and so on, who were solution focused, solution oriented therapists are now calling themselves coaches, and they're just doing what they've always been doing, but now they're
that's a
calling
different
themselves
label.
coaches.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So I see that by making a connection with what people are already doing and adding some refinements to that, we can help people who are not officially coaches to take on that position as well as what they're already doing without having to make any huge leap of faith or change of career. So it can make an easy transition to become a coach or to add coaching to what someone's already
Mm.
doing.
Okay, so as a therapist, to use the skills they already have, to become a
Yeah,
coach, to add
yeah.
more income stream. Now, does somebody need to be a therapist to do this course?
No, no. Someone could be interested to be a coach, and through the course they can get the principles to make a beginning. It's not like at the end of 6 weeks someone is going to be a world expert coach. But because this program is intentionally practical, by the end of the time, I promise that people who go through the process will have the skills they need to make a beginning.
Hmm. And knowing what I know about you, the confidence to feel like they can make that beginning and get going, right?
And the confidence comes through
Hmm.
gaining competence. If we can have a sense of, oh, I know what to do. I can do this. I don't have to pretend. I really can take these simple but very powerful steps, then I can feel confident,
Hmm.
genuinely, not
Hmm.
pretending. So
Hmm.
that's the promise of the course.
Cool. All right. And so, what is the course? Online course. I think you said 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah, starting
Uh,
in a little while, and it'll run for 6 weeks, and it involves some talks, some video demonstration, and such an important part of this is some video coaching calls where
hmm.
people on the course can meet online like you and I are doing now. You're in Mexico, I'm in Hobart in Tasmania in Australia, and here we are talking with each other and we can see each other. So in that way, there is that chance of personal connection. And so the video coaching calls are a hugely uh, beneficial part of the learning because there's that personal connection and the
Yeah.
conversations that happen. That's great. So,
Okay.
and the program, all of the components of the program can be downloaded. People can keep them as a permanent record to refer to permanently. They can
Now
own
you
them.
did the video coaching calls on your last course. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And did you find that did everybody was able to participate? Were there technology questions, or does everybody these days have a built-in camera? Or I'm so used to it these days that I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Well, the
Um,
majority of people were able to do it easily, and some
mhm.
people who don't have a camera, who don't not using a computer, can still call in using the phone.
Oh, cool.
Voice. There's a voice option. I have a strong preference for video because, as you can see, we can see each other, we can interact with each other. But if someone doesn't have that, phone's still an option.
Okay.
But
And you do record those conversations, so if someone misses it, they have an emergency client meeting, etc., they can download it.
they can
Is that right?
download and look at the video, listen to the audio, and again, that can be a permanent reference. And some of the best learning I've noticed happens. Uh, I mean, the course is a course, and it's got some excellent material in it. But a lot of the real benefits I've noticed come from the conversations that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have.
There's something about that meeting of the minds,
Yeah,
live interaction.
I
Yeah,
think it's brilliant. I think it's
yeah.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah, well, a lot of us, whether we're a coach, a therapist, a Feldenkrais practitioner, what it is, whatever, a lot of us are out there sort of working alone in the trenches.
Yes.
Um, Contact can be really, really nice.
And some
Yeah.
of the components in this course are, I would say, unique in the options that they provide for people. For therapists, some people who may not want to be a coach, but they can still be part of this program and learn some things that are so going to be so useful to their practice, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And we are going to bring in uh, approaches, ways of engaging people into the coaching and therapy process when, if they've been sent, if they're not sure about whether they can or whatever. We're going to pay attention to that. Very important issue.
Hmm.
I see a lot of therapists, a lot of coaches suffer and even get burnout because a lot of the people they're seeing are kind of ambivalent about whether they really want to do this or not, whether they really want to change or not. So we're going to take care of that.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to bring in the most marvelous and simple and expansive way, the way that emotions and the body can be brought in as places for intervention and to help support the coaching process. You do, with your Feldenkrais work, how uh, you can intervene, things you can do with the body that actually change the shape, not only of the body, but of someone's future. So we're
Sure.
going to explore in this process, in this program, ways that we can include the body as a source of solutions.
Hmm.
Just give you a kind of a simple example of that. If I were to kind of slump down with my shoulders and look down at the floor,
Hmm.
pretty soon I notice that my breathing gets shallow and I don't feel so good. In fact, I think if I was enough like that, I'd get depressed.
Sure.
But when I lift my shoulders up, when I move my head around, when I kind of loosen up and get my,
Hmm.
well, there's a different future. I see the world looks different. And so this is going to be so relevant for people with in coaching and therapy field. We'll also have a look at how to intervene strategically, how to help people get a different way of interacting intentionally to change their experience, and different ways of viewing how things are, to reframe their experience so they can get a different perspective. And
Hmm.
in doing that, you get a different perspective, you get a different view, you see different possibilities, and more futures appear. So I'm really uh, so glad to be sharing this work. I think it has the potential to contribute a lot to therapists, to coaches, to therapists wanting to become coaches, therapists not
Uh-huh.
wanting to become coaches, and
Yeah.
their clients.
Well, and you've been teaching these types of workshops for so long,
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
you get a chance to reach people outside of Australia or people who are not in that immediate environment. I
sure.
know you were in Finland a while back, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so cool. Is there anything that you can think that people need to know about before deciding whether or not to join you on this course?
The only other thing to add in, Ryan, is that we're so um, confident about the usefulness of this.
Hmm.
We're offering a 14-day refund. If someone decides for whatever reason that this is not for them, it won't be for everybody, of course. If they decide, nah, after they've registered and started, nah, this is not for me, no problem, no questions asked, refund for 2 weeks.
Okay, so they'll be able to do the first few lessons, have a
Yeah,
couple of live calls with you, and say, "Hey, is
yeah,
this working for me?"
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, well, I have to say, you and I have done something similar. What you're doing is more involved than the teleseminars that you and I did together. But just
Mm,
having that call every 2 weeks was something that I really looked forward to.
mm.
And there was a couple of times, not all of them, but there was a couple of times we'd do a call, and about 24 hours later, I would go listen to it again. So yeah, I find this type of thing very useful.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm having a lot more coaching calls with this program. There'll probably be 2 a week. Not that everybody needs
Ah.
to come to everyone, but I'm offering them 2 a week. So there'll be a substantial number of opportunities for us to connect, to converse, and to share our learning. And
Wow, cool.
not that
I missed that.
everybody needs to come to all of them, but
Yeah,
that's what's going to be, that's the deal.
cool. All right. Well, good luck with this one, and
Thank
keep
you.
me in the loop if
Yeah,
you need me
yeah,
to help get word out and et
yeah.
cetera.
Right. Thanks for
All right.
clarifying all those things and your questions, Ryan.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
was fun and it was good touching base. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a face to face, so.
Yeah.